Woo! Devin has a lot of hair. We are going to be here for a minute. So because he has a little scalp condition that we've been dealing with for a while and just trying to find ways to combat the dryness and the flakes before he goes into his locks, I decided that I was going to do a scalp detox first. And you see all the crust right there? We have to get rid of all that because you don't want to start the locks with like that type of scalp condition, because that would be the worst thing, like if he had stuff in his locks. So we're just going to do like a little detox to get that off. Now, I do want to say that I am not a loctician. I'm a healthy hair care specialist, and I have videos about that. I'll put in a playlist below. This is my very first time doing locks, so I have a lot to learn. But for the scalp detox, I did a sugar scrub, and that's basically coconut oil and sugar, and I combined it together. And I'm just going to put that all over his scalp. And I parted into 4 sections to make it easier because he has a lot of hair, and I will probably say that like 1,000 times in this video because it is so true. It always takes me forever to do his hair whenever I do it, even if it's not something like this. So I'm just parting his hair into different sections, and I'm putting the sugar scrub, the coconut and sugar scrub, onto his scalp. I'm going to do that to all of his hair. And then after I finish putting all of that on his scalp, I'm going to go ahead and just massage it in real good to try to break up some of the residue and flakiness and stuff on the scalp to make sure that we get all of that off before we start actually locking his hair. And y'all, even doing the sugar scrub on his scalp took me forever. He has so much hair. I mean, it's to die for. It's just super thick and takes me forever to do it. So everything has to be done in sections, or not, I will wear myself out. So I'm just massaging the sugar scrub in and just loosening up all the flakiness and all of the flakes and yucky on the scalp and everything, because we want to start with a clean slate for the locks, because I didn't want him to be in a situation where he had little flakes all in his locks. That would not be cute, not starting off. I'm pretty sure you can't prevent like all the flakes, but we try to like get rid of as much of it as possible because his scalp was like really super yucky. And I'm not sure if you guys have seen it before, but I've done like scratching videos on him. I mean, the flakes are great for scratching, but for locks, that's a no-go. And so this is how his scalp looks after I did all the scrubbing and everything, and I'm getting ready to go ahead and shampoo it. So I shampooed and deconditioned his hair, and this is how it looks. And we got off, I would say, almost all of the stuff that was on his scalp. It looks really, really, really good. And I just put a leave-in conditioner on there, you know, just to soften it up and help me be able to like part it easily, because his hair is super thick and it looks coarse, but it's really not. But it just kind of like shrinks up a lot, and so it just like takes a lot out of me to try to part it. So after thoroughly inspecting his scalp and seeing that we removed the residue and the yuck off of his scalp, which I'm pretty sure he was happy about because he always complains about it being itchy. So we're going to go ahead and start the process. So I just have my clips here. I use some locking gel. Well, not locking gel, but locking wax. And I have some combs that I use. And I forget what else. A spray bottle. Yeah, I'm doing this voiceover, so I'm trying to remember what it is. Oh, with a tangling brush, which I probably didn't use it in the video, but I still used it. And so I just had to make sure his hair is super wet. So right here, I'm just deciding on like what the size of the locks are going to be, because he wants the small, neat ones. But it looks like I am attempting to do a comb coil, which I suck at. I'm no good at comb coils. I really, really, really struggle with that. I had never done it before. I saw it in videos and I was like, hey, I'm a hairstylist, so I can do a comb coil. Not. I could not do comb coils. That was like the worst thing that I ever tried, and I was not good at it. Like, the hair kept getting stuck in the comb. I kept stopping and starting. It took me forever to do it. I just really sucked at that. I mean, I know that looks okay, but like throughout this whole process, me and the comb coils, we were not best friends. Like, we had this like hate relationship going on, because no, that was terrible. Another thing too, I decided here to do little scoops for his locks. And so that just wasn't really working out for me too well either. But you know, as I went on, I kind of like started to get the hang of the comb coil a little bit, but not enough for me to be saying that I'm a comb coil expert. Actually, I never want to ever do another comb coil again, because no. With this being my first time doing locks, I should have done something that I was comfortable with, not something I was just trying to learn how to do. I'll never do that again. But as I said before, this was a learning process, and I am starting out to learn, and I have a lot to learn. And so this is Devin's lock journey, but it's also my lock journey as well, because I'm going to be his stylist throughout the lock journey. And I will be like recording a lot of the lock journey so you guys can see. And so this is me once I got like to the top of it. And I just kind of gave up on the comb coils because I started breaking my combs. And so I just decided to go on ahead and start doing like some finger coils, which is something I've never done before either. At least, no, I think I did do it once on my niece's hair. But anyways, oh, I am doing a comb coil. But I did start doing finger coils, trust me, because the comb coils, they were wearing me out and I just could not get like the rhythm down. I used all different types of combs and it just did not work. I used a small part of comb, I used a big part of comb, I used 2 other types of combs. It just wasn't working, so that just wasn't for me. So I did eventually start doing finger coils because I was getting tired at this point and I was like, I need to get this done. Another thing too, I like the scoops, but as far as the scoops for like doing neat partings and stuff, that wasn't gonna work. And he said that he wanted to do like different hairstyles and stuff, you know, when his locks get a little bit longer. And so the scoops, I mean, it worked out great. It looked really nice and everything, and he was really happy. But as he wore them for a few days, it wasn't him, it was me, because I'm the picky one. I'm the like the perfectionist one. And since I'm going to be the one doing his hair, I had to make sure that it was going to be the way that I need it to be. So believe it or not, y'all, I took him down. I took down his locks and I went ahead and rewashed his hair. And I did an apple cider vinegar rinse on his scalp and everything to make sure his scalp was nice and detox. And I redid them. So I'm getting ready to show y'all that in just a second. But let me show y'all how this looks after it was finished. And then we'll go on to the next part of the video. So I know it's a lot of work, but this is like a permanent hairstyle. So I need to make sure that it had to be what I need to be. So it came out pretty good. You know, I learned a lot. I still have a lot to learn. I'm by far not an expert. I'm not a loctician. I'm not a lock specialist. I'm just trying to help my son out, you know, and help him with his locks. And there's a lot of people out there who do their own locks. And so we're going to be those people too. And I'm pretty sure that eventually I will get to the point where I feel like I'm really good at it. But for now, hey, this is what it is. I think it turned out pretty good for my first time. What do you think, guys? Okay, so I'm putting some oil on his scalp. And this is like a coconut oil, olive oil, and tea tree oil mix to kind of help combat some of the dryness and flakiness on the scalp. And so this is a few days later after I took it down. And so I kind of learned from the first process. I parted everything into 4 sections because this time around I decided to do square parts. And so here I am kind of like measuring to see what size I want the locks to be, because I want them to be fairly small but not too small, because I want him to be able to do like a lot of different styles, you know, with them, you know, like the guys you see in the pictures and stuff, and like the athletes and stuff, they be doing like different styles of their locks. And so he kind of likes that type of thing. And so I kind of want to make sure that he can do different styles and have neat partings. And so his hair pretty much was drying, and so I went ahead and sprayed it down because it's better to do it on like soaking wet hair. And so initially I parted it there, but I decided that it was a little bit too big, so I wanted to go on ahead and make it a little bit smaller. Those locks were too big. So his hair is not that thick. His hair is very full, but it's not that thick for me to be doing big, thick locks like that. So I went ahead and parted it a little bit more to make a more of a medium-sized lock. But y'all, I really, really, really struggled. The struggle with these locks was for real, real, real. I clap my hands to commend anybody who does this on a regular basis, because it is not as easy as people make it look. And so this time around, I decided, oh wait, I won't talk about that just yet. Let's just look at this and see what we're doing. So I went ahead and finished parting across the nape, and I'm putting like 3 locks down there. And I'm doing, I guess, like the bricklay pattern. It's just a lot easier to do that as far as like styling and everything. It's just a lot easier to part. And so I think I have like the size I want to be. So I'm going to go ahead and start. This time I'm going to be doing finger coils, I believe, throughout the entire head of hair, because it's a lot easier for me, even though I'm not good at that either. It's a lot easier. Now, I could have done like 2-strand twist, but I decided to go with the coils because I just like the way that the coils look a lot better. But to each its own. Everybody has their own preference as to how they want to start their locks. I asked a lot of people. I went and did research online. I asked a lot of people that I ran into when I was out and about on the streets, and everybody had different answers. And so it really is more about personal preference than it is about right or wrong. And that's one thing I've noticed about like starting locks and everything. So that was the first one. And that one came out pretty good. And so I'm still struggling here because this is just something I'm not familiar with. But if you guys know me, or once you get to know me, you'll know that I'm a bit of a perfectionist. And so I'm going to keep trying until I get it to where, you know, I know how to do it really, really well. So, hey. But yeah, I'm just going to keep on like coiling my way up. And I'm using product in there. I think it's another locking gel, different than the one I used before, but I think it's made by the same company. Not gel. I keep saying gel. It's not gel. It's wax. It's wax. I'm trying not to use a lot. Like before, I only used like a little bit. And then once I got to the top, I didn't even use that much. I just did all water. And then you have people who say don't put any products in your locks. But I don't think I'm going to be a no product person. I think I'm going to put products in, but just make sure I do like lock detoxes on a regular basis. And I think that'll help so they won't get all sticky and yucky. And so I'm just clipping them up. And that's how it looks like after I finish the back section. Now I'm going to tell y'all something. Like anytime I do his hair, even when it's not locks, it takes me forever. Like when I used to do his 2-strand twist, it would take me like 2.5 to 3 hours because he just has so much hair. So I ain't going to tell y'all how long these locks took just yet. But here I am doing the finger coils. It is going a lot faster than it did the first time. But I still am struggling. Yeah, and I still have a lot more research to do about locks, like the different phases of it and what to expect and all that, because my idea of what things are supposed to be and what it really is supposed to be, like reality, is two different things. And so I got to make sure that I do a lot more research so I can understand like how the hair is going to respond during the different phases of it. But here I am I'm continuing to do the finger coils, which is a lot better for me than the comb coils because, as I said before, I suck at the comb coils and I never want to do those again. So hopefully, like this set of locks that I'm doing, that I'll just leave them alone and I won't be like, oh, they're not perfect enough and I'll be trying to start over, because no, I'm not starting over. There's no way. There's no way. Now, I did recently look up some information about palm rolling. So that's something I'm going to be experimenting with, but I don't want to overdo it because I hear a lot of people say if you do palm rolls too much and it makes the lock skinny. And so I just got to figure out exactly how that goes. But let me stop talking about that and y'all can just watch me like twist a little bit there. It started getting a little bit fun. I like repetitive motions, and that's the beautiful part about being a hairstylist. You do a lot of repetitive motions. And so that's why I was able to stick with that for a very long time. I just like doing that. It's very soothing. Okay, enough about me. So I was struggling a little bit on the ends because they kept like balling up or whatever on the end. And so I would just take the comb and just kind of like get the twist to do what I wanted them to do. And finally they did. And so here I am trying to get the parts perfect. Shame on you, Tamika. Stop trying to be such a perfectionist. They're locks. They don't have to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I just want them to be neat looking because he has to work. And so he has to be presentable. And so I want them to be neat. Okay, so more finger coils. Still struggling, but getting it done. Getting it done, getting it done, getting it done. Those ends really were like drying out. And I would have to like take the comb and get them to be a little bit smoother because you don't want like puffy ends. And so that's something I'm going to have to figure out as time goes on and I do retwists and everything. I might have to retwist a little bit down. But yeah, so I started getting like the hang of it there. And I think I'm doing okay for my first time. Well, actually this is my second time because the first time I did the comb coils, but I'm still saying this is my first time because I had to take them down and redo them. Yeah. So my arms were getting tired and we had to change venues. We went downstairs and decided to put a movie in. So we sat there and got a snack and just watched the movie while I did like the top section of his hair. But at this point, by this point in time, it was already like a long period of time. And so I was exhausted because I don't know if y'all know it, but I'm dealing with a little injury in my shoulder. And this is an exhausting task when you're like in pain. So we had to get downstairs and like get at a different level for me because his hair, y'all can see it just puffy and it just be doing the most. So I'm going to continue on with the finger coils. And just coil. I felt like I coiled to my life's content. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, it took me about 4 hours the first time to do it. And the second time, it took me a little bit longer to do it. So I think I was on his head like 5 hours the second time around. That's crazy, because I've seen videos where people, they be doing that thing in like 30, 45 minutes. But they do it on time. I don't. It's on my first time. I think I did all right, though. Yeah. Anything for my baby boy. So I'm pretty much at the top, and I'm feeling pretty fancy because I'm almost done. And I like the fact that I'm not able to do them too tight because I don't want to be pulling his brains out. And plus, I want to make sure his locks are healthy and thick, too. I feel like if you do them too tight, then they start thinning out and you start having issues and things. So, yeah, it's a good thing I can't do it tight like that just yet. Okay, so I'm twisting and twisting and twisting and coiling and coiling and coiling and then spraying water and making sure the ends aren't puffy. We don't want locks with puffy ends. Yeah. Yeah, I got my big boss comb there because the other comb I had broke it from last time. And so I pretty much was just clipping it out of the way and just to hold it in place so the roots wouldn't puff back up, and that was working really well for me. And that's the last one. Woo, I'm so exhausted. I'm so glad we are finally finished. I love my baby boy. If I didn't love him, I wouldn't be able to do this process twice. Love you, baby. So this is a finished product after it's dry. And it's looking pretty good to me. I mean, I'm not a loctician. First time, I think I did a pretty good job. Yeah. So he was happy. He was really excited because he jumped up and went and looked in the mirror and he was just had this big old smile on his face. So yeah. All right, guys. So I'm going to be like keeping you guys up to date on his lock journey. So watch out for other lock videos. Don't forget to read the description box below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Love you. Talk to you soon.